Hi there. This video is going to be a quick guide on the sorts of ways you can use RTrack's graphs. So I'm on a pretty small game here, and you can see that, for example, some of this data is quite hard to understand. So a big feature you can use for this, I'm going to just increase the time span to a month. Here we go, a bit longer. A feature you can use for this is, for example, change the data point resolution. So I want to see how many players am I getting on average per hour, for example. Change this to an hour instead. And there you go, the data's updated. Still not maybe as nice as you want it to, so if we change it to a day, then it will actually average out all of the player counts within that day, and it will give you the average player count on that day, which can give you a much better trend. You can also choose, so rather than seeing the average on the day, maybe I want to see the most players that were active at any point on that day, so I can click maximum here. It will change the graph to show the highest number of players that were on the game on that day. It will do that for all the graphs as well. It will show the highest number, and you can see ratings, you can see the highest point of that day. We can also choose minimum if we wanted to see the worst amount, which on this game is going to be 1. We can also add up the values, though there's not much reason to do that on these graphs. Some other graphs on RTrack is quite useful to do that for. We can also look at the difference. So what the difference does is it takes the lowest value and the highest value in the time span you've specified here, and it tells you how much it's increased by. So you can see this is pretty good for visits, so we can actually see per day how many visits is the game getting. We can see, you know, a few 700, 400, 300. It goes up here, and this is super helpful because if we just went back to normal settings here, and we look back at visits, it's really hard to really see, like you can see that it's going up, but it's really hard to get an idea of what that really means. In terms of relatively, is that, you know, how much more of an increase is this than the rest of the graph here? And that's why difference can be so useful, because it lets you see, look, this is quite a lot of a jump. You know, you can even go back. These tools are more useful even for long time periods. So if we went back for 6 months of data, it might take a little bit to load because it's such a long time. Here we go. So here we go. We can look at 6 months of visit data on this game, and the data is collated in the same way. We've got a day data point resolution, merging type of difference, so we can see going back for 6 months how many visits did this game get every day, and can see that really this is actually a very small jump compared to before, and the whole thing is trending down. I could do the same thing per week. You can see the same trend, it's going down like so, and you can also use the same difference on favorites, so you can see that actually, although the trend has been going down so much, the number of favorites hasn't taken so much of a hit. Can also see how much the ratings are changing by on a day-to-day basis, whether they're going, how much they're increasing by. And we can, you know, change this for, say for example, the maximum here. I can see what is the maximum number of players the game got on each week in the past 6 months. And I could even see that for the past year. Let's quickly look at the past year. I say quickly, it will take a bit to load. Okay, here we go. So we've got some data here on visits. We've also got the player count data. You can see that this is the highest peak RTrack's recorded in the past year, 140 players. And you can still see that despite only seeing a few data points, it will give you the highest. We can also do the difference again, and it will show us, you know, what is the difference. This is a erroneous data point here. because there's a missing data. But you can see going along here, 20,000 per week around there, and most recently 4,000 around that area. If you have a pro subscription, you can download this data as well. Yeah, and you can see the number of favorites all the way going back to when you want to see the data for. So this is kind of, I think, most of the options RTrack provides for looking at data like this. Of course, you can look at very small data points, but when we're looking at long time periods like this, that can quickly get to be a bit too much, really, data to be looking at once. Can't really see what's going on here, so by using these tools you can get a much better understanding of exactly what's happening throughout the year. So there you go. Hopefully this was a helpful video. If you've got any questions or suggestions for additions to this, feel free to leave them in the comments or join the Discord. We'll leave some stuff on the Discord. And thanks for watching. Bye bye.